Prologue. The aftermath of Julius Caesar's assassination in the year 41 BC, the Roman Republic stood on the brink of chaos, its foundations rattled by the assassination of Julius Caesar and the subsequent power struggles among his former allies. Amidst this turmoil, the conflict known as the Perusine War emerged, pitting Octavian against the supporters of Mark Antony and his wife, Fulvia. This war would not only reveal the fragility of alliances formed in the wake of Caesar's death but also foreshadow the eventual rise of Octavian as the unchallenged ruler of Rome. The context of the conflict following Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, a power vacuum emerged, leading to infighting among his supporters and rivals. The political landscape was fraught with tensions, as various factions vied for control of the Republic. The assassination had led to the formation of alliances among former allies and enemies alike. Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir, sought to consolidate power alongside Antony, but underlying rivalries and ambitions simmered just beneath the surface. Key players in the Perusine War: Octavian, Gaius Octavius, born in 63 BC, Octavian was Julius Caesar's grandnephew and adopted son. His youth and ambition positioned him as a key figure in Roman politics, inheriting not just Caesar's name but also his enemies. Octavian's initial political strategy involved aligning with Antony to counter the threats posed by Caesar's assassins and other political factions. His focus was on securing his position as the leader of the Caesarian faction. Mark Antony, a prominent general and one of Caesar's most trusted lieutenants, Antony had considerable military prowess and political influence. His association with Cleopatra of Egypt further complicated his position in Roman politics. Antony's wife, Fulvia, was a powerful political figure in her own right. She played a critical role in rallying support for Antony, leveraging her influence in Rome to assert their power. Fulvia was a member of the Fulvi family, known for its political engagement. Her marriage to Antony positioned her as a key player in Roman politics, especially as tensions escalated between the factions. Fulvia's ambition and determination to secure Antony's position contributed to the tensions leading to the Perusine War. She actively mobilized support for her husband and sought to challenge Octavian's growing influence. Prelude to war: tensions between Octavian and Antony. Although initially allied, Octavian and Antony's relationship began to deteriorate due to conflicting ambitions. Octavian's popularity in Rome and Antony's increasing reliance on foreign alliances, notably with Cleopatra, fueled suspicion and resentment. The division of territories established by the Second Triumvirate became contentious. Antony's focus on the eastern provinces and his connection to Cleopatra led to concerns among Octavian's supporters that he was prioritizing foreign interests over Rome. The role of Fulvia's active engagement in politics allowed her to garner support for Antony's faction. She sought to strengthen their position against Octavian by rallying loyalists and utilizing her family connections. Fulvia's actions, perceived as aggressive by Octavian, escalated tensions. She began mobilizing forces in Italy, advocating for a direct confrontation with Octavian's supporters. The outbreak of war: the situation in Perusia, modern-day Perugia, was strategically located in central Italy, making it an ideal stronghold for Fulvia and Antony's forces. It became the focal point of the conflict as Fulvia sought to rally support against Octavian. As tensions reached a boiling point, Fulvia and her forces laid siege to Perusia, aiming to assert control and challenge Octavian's growing power. This siege marked the official outbreak of the Perusine War. Octavian's response: in response to the siege, Octavian mobilized his forces to counter Fulvia's aggression. He understood that victory was essential for solidifying his position in Rome and diminishing Antony's influence. Octavian sought to solidify alliances with key figures in Rome to bolster his military strength. His ability to garner support from influential leaders would play a crucial role in the unfolding conflict. The course of the war: early skirmishes, initial confrontations between Octavian's forces and those loyal to Fulvia resulted in fierce battles as both sides fought for control of strategic positions in the region. Octavian relied on effective military strategies and the loyalty of his troops to engage in skirmishes, aiming to weaken Fulvia's forces and assert dominance in the region. The Siege of Perusia: the Siege of Perusia involved both siege warfare tactics and psychological strategies. Octavian aimed to cut off supply lines to Fulvia's forces, leveraging the city's isolation. Despite the pressure, Fulvia remained defiant. Her determination to uphold her husband's honor and reclaim control over the region galvanized her supporters, prolonging the siege. The turning point: the siege tightens as time passed. Fulvia's forces faced dwindling supplies, leading to increased desperation. The prolonged siege tested the morale of her supporters and strained their resources. Internal divisions within Fulvia's camp began to surface as discontent grew. The harsh conditions of the siege led to defections, further weakening her position. Octavian's victory. With unwavering resolve, Octavian executed a decisive plan to break the siege. His forces mounted an all-out assault, overpowering Fulvia's troops and forcing a retreat. The fall of Perusia marked a significant turning point in the conflict. Octavian's victory not only solidified his position but also delivered a severe blow to Antony's faction. Aftermath of the war. Consequences for Fulvia. Following the defeat at Perusia, Fulvia fled to the eastern provinces, seeking refuge. Her loss marked a significant shift in the power dynamics between Octavian and Antony. Fulvia's defeat led to her political isolation. Her actions had ultimately weakened Antony's position, as Octavian emerged as the more dominant figure in Roman politics. Implications for Antony. Antony, upon learning of Fulvia's defeat, faced a crisis. He had to reassess his political strategies and alliances in light of Octavian's growing power. The events of the Perusine War strained the relationship between Antony and Octavian. The fractures in their alliance became evident, foreshadowing future conflicts. The path to consolidation of power. Octavian's ascendancy. With the Perusine War behind him, Octavian focused on consolidating his power. He worked to gain the loyalty of the Senate and key political figures to establish his dominance in Roman politics. Octavian carefully curated his public image as a protector of the Republic, contrasting himself with Antony's perceived association with foreign interests. This narrative helped bolster his support among Roman citizens.